Published, 16:18 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 2nd of July 2018. Updated, 17:50 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 2nd of July 2018. This extraordinary World Cup keeps springing surprises on us, doesn't it? There was no upset in the earlier match with Brazil qualifying for the quarterfinal, but in Rostov, temporarily, a shock was on the cards when Japan went 2 goals up before Belgium came roaring back to break their hearts with the last-gasp winner. So, after a samba stroller and a nail-biting extraordinaire, Sportsmail brings you all the things you may have missed from the day's action in Russia. Belgium snuck through by the skin of their teeth after scoring late on to dump out Japan. Mexico to pay tribute to Romania. World Cup 1998 side by sporting peroxide blonde hair, while Neymar has now ditched those blonde locks for a simpler cut after seeing his initial hairstyle for the tournament widely mocked. Mexico legend Javier Hernandez and Miguel Ayun decided to break out the peroxide in advance of Monday's last 16 clash. The pair's striking new barnets provoked instant comparisons with the Romania team, who aside from goalkeeper Bogdan Stelia, dyed their hair blonde after beating Colombia and England to advance from the group stage at France 1998, much to the chagrin of commentators everywhere. Like Romania, who were beaten by Croatia in Bordeaux after drawing with Tunisia, that effort could not save Mexico from another last 16 exit. Javier Hernandez sports his striking new blonde hairstyle as Neymar opts for a simpler cut. Chicharito and Miguel Ayun evoke memories of the Romanian team from the 1998 World Cup. Romania's players dyed their hair peroxide blonde at the World Cup in France in 1998. Neymar debuts new yellow, Meu Jogo, Nike boots. Neymar simply would not be denied on Monday as he notched Brazil's first goal and teed up the second for Liverpool's Roberto Firmino. There was clearly nothing amiss with his new brightly colored footwear on display as he sported his latest offering from Nike, his own canary yellow pair of Mercurial Vapor 360s named Meu Jogo, in apparent reference to Neymar's commitment to playing his game. "I got here because of my football," he said. "If football brought me to where I am, if it made me conquer the things I did, then I don't need to change." Neymar sports his new canary yellow Mercurial Vapor 360 boots against Mexico on Monday. Rafael Marquez becomes oldest outfield starter in a World Cup knockout clash for 64 years. Rafael Marquez certainly endured an unusual build-up to his 5th World Cup. Marquez donned training gear without sponsors after being blacklisted by the United States Treasury Department last year for allegedly having links to a drug cartel, allegations which he denies. The 39-year-old, who made his international debut 21 years ago, remained as Mexico captain and featured as a substitute in Group F contests against Germany and South Korea before being promoted to the starting 11 on his 148th cap against Brazil. In doing so, Marquez became the oldest player to start a World Cup knockout match since England's Sir Stanley Matthews against Uruguay all the way back in 1954. He is also just the 2nd player ever to begin at least one game at 5 successive World Cup tournaments. Remarkable. It's also worth noting that Brazil netted the opener within just 6 minutes of his halftime withdrawal. Rafael Marquez, right, became the oldest outfield player to start a World Cup knockout match since England's Sir Stanley Matthews against Uruguay back in 1954. Mexico's last 16 curse continues. CONCACAF giants Mexico are certainly a regular fixture on the World Cup stage, having competed at every tournament since USA 94, and while they are always a safe bet to advance beyond the group stage, it seems they just cannot find a way to replicate their quarterfinal runs on home soil in both 1970 and 1986. Defeat to Brazil saw Mexico eliminated from the World Cup at the last 16 stage for the 7th time in succession. They will hope to finally break that curse in the first winter competition in Qatar in 2022. Mexico fans appeared dejected after watching their team suffer yet another last 16 exit in Russia. Thibaut Courtois avoided the wrath of karma after his alarming error nearly gifted Japan a goal on Monday evening. Courtois somehow allowed the ball to slip through his grasp as he went to gather it during the first half, but came to his own rescue by turning quickly and leaping on the ball before it rolled over the line. The Belgium goalkeeper's embarrassment, had the ball went in, would have been intensified, having mocked Jordan Pickford for conceding to Adnan Januzaj in their final group game last week. Thibaut Courtois was almost left red-faced after letting the ball slip through his grasp. The Belgium keeper alarmingly allowed the ball go through his hands despite it having no pace. Sportsmail columnist and BBC commentator Martin Keown was quick to point out that Courtois had been overly critical of England's number one and urged him to concentrate on his own game first before talking about others. "I wasn't critical about Pickford this week," Keown said. "He should sort out his own job first." It appeared as if Courtois was heading out of the tournament after Japan took a 2-goal lead, but Belgium fought back to win 3-2. "Remember, though, karma has no deadline," but Courtois recovered quickly and jumped on the ball to save himself from embarrassment. Martin Keown said Courtois should sort his own job out before criticizing Jordan Pickford. "If we win the group, it guarantees us a place in the quarterfinal, because Japan are not much cop," they said. It turns out they were wrong. Japan are in fact quite the opposites, as it proved on Monday evening, and a place in the quarterfinal would not have been guaranteed. Gareth Southgate was hit with everything bar the kitchen sink after his resting of players led to defeat against Belgium and a subsequent second-placed finish in the group. Japan proved they would have been stern competition for England had they got them in last 16, but those critics will certainly be enjoying a sizable slice of humble pie after Japan ran Belgium close and had every England fan thinking, "Never mind Brazil, we might never have even got that far." Some Twitter users claimed Southgate had planned for this and got his tactics spot on. That is perhaps being a tad too kind to the England boss, but after this, one can only wonder if he has a guardian angel looking over him. Of course, this should be a reminder that no draw in this World Cup of surprises is a guarantee pass. Amid claims of England have an easy route to the final, Jan Vertonghen's header was a beast. There is no two ways about it. The Belgium defender peeled away to the back post to take up a position Japan would have considered safe. How wrong. The 31-year-old sent a powerful looping header back from where it came from and found the corner of the net to have the deficit and spark a Belgium revival. According to Opta, his header was from 20.34 yards, 18.6 meters, which is the longest range-headed goal ever at the World Cup. Jan Vertonghen scored a sensational header to spark a Belgium comeback against Japan. He scored from 20.34 yards. 18.6 meters, the longest headed goal in World Cup history. 20.34 Jan Vertonghen's goal at 20.34 yards, 18.6 meters, is the longest range-headed goal at the distance. pic.twitter.com/uitwi, Opta Johan, @Opta Johan, July 2, 2018. In this extraordinary World Cup, Belgium and Japan served up an end-to-end extraordinaire. Martinez's men came from 2-0 down to score a late winner to book a spot in the quarterfinal against Brazil. It was the first time since 1970 a 2-goal deficit had been overturned at a World Cup knockout game. The last team to do it was Germany, which came against England. Belgium also became the first team to come from 2 goals down to win a World Cup knockout match within 90 minutes since Portugal beat DPR Korea in the 1966 quarterfinal, 0-3 down, 5-3 win. Belgium are the first side to win from 2-0 down in a World Cup knockout game since 1970. The last time a team came from 2-0 down to win a World Cup knockout game was Germany against England in 1970. Gary Lineker, @Gary Lineker, July 2, 2018.